Good evening, everyone. It's Clarissa here, creator of She Rocks at College and Study School. And I just got off of a lovely one-on-one student call with a nursing student where we went over my 3-step study protocol. I taught her how to write notes for her particular nursing courses, what she should include in her notes, why it's important that she includes them, because it means that it's going to show up on the exam some way, somehow. And I taught her the tricks and the strategies to figure out what all of that was. And it got me thinking, because I've also, within the past few days, have received many questions on study school, what it is, who it's for, who it's not for, why I even decided to create it. And so I thought that I would hop on Facebook Live and kind of just give the background of She Rocks at College and give the background of study school. So if you're new to this Facebook page and you found me within the past couple of months or just recently because of the challenge that I ran to help you create your study routine, I wasn't always a great student. In fact, I was a terrible student. Awful, graduated with a 2.7 GPA from my first degree. I had originally intended to go on to medical school. I wanted to be an OBGYN, and I went into a bio major, having graduated second in my high school. So I considered myself to be an okay student, a bright student, someone who always made high honors, who was a good student who enjoyed school. But when I got to college, it was a rude awakening. I failed class after class, withdrew from many more. And by the time I had actually hit my junior year of college, I had either at that point withdrawn from or failed out of over 7 classes. That's how I ended up with that 2.7 GPA. And I had a meeting with my advisor, told her my plans, told her I wanted to go on to medical school, and she straight up told me, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but not only will you not get into medical school, but you also won't ever make it in any type of medical field because you just don't have what it takes. You're just not smart enough. And it was so embarrassing, so devastating, so heart-wrenching to hear someone tell me what I could and could not do. And I won't lie to you and sit here and tell you that right away, I was like, oh, I'm going to go figure this out. Screw you. Who are you to tell me? No, for a while, I believed her. I believed everything that she had said because I bought into the fixed mindset ideal. And if you've never heard of the fixed mindset, it's a psychology term. It's a mindset term where you believe that abilities like intelligence and talent are born into you. It's just a given. And then you feel that no matter what you do, no matter how much effort you put forth, it doesn't matter. It's not going to change it. You're either smart or you're not. You got it or you don't. And that's actually not true. There's a lot of neuroscience out there proving the neuroplasticity of our brains, meaning that our brains grow over time, that they develop, that new neurons are formed all of the times, new connections that prove that intelligence isn't fixed, that it can actually be learned through the right strategies, through effort, and through practice. And it took me trying to bring up my self-esteem to realize that I could learn how to become a great student. So I ended up spending an entire summer digging into all of the neuroscience research, digging into all of the learning research, digging into every study strategy book that I could find out there to help me become a great student. And I was so gung-ho about figuring out how to be a good student that I was willing to fail courses and fail exams along the way in search of these strategies that actually worked, the strategies that actually have been proven to be used by the most successful students. And I applied all of those strategies through my nursing prerequisites, ended up getting into a nursing program after I was told that I didn't have what it takes at the 3.8 GPA, having taken a lot of the courses that I had failed out of when I was originally in college, and I graduated nursing school 2 years later with honors while working 2 jobs. And so, if there's anybody out there who knows what it's like to feel like the dumb girl, to feel like the stupid one out of the group, to feel like you don't have what it takes, to cry yourself to sleep because you want something so bad and you don't know how to get it, and everyone's telling you that you can't, to try your hardest and to fail time and time and time again, that is me. And if I could do it, if somebody who failed over 7 courses and withdrew from many more, who was told she would never make it in the medical field, who had a 2.7 GPA, could go from that to a 3.8 and then graduate with honors, you can do it. Because I can tell you that my IQ level has not changed. I didn't somehow become some genius. I just learned the study skills and the study strategies that I'm going to teach college girls like you in study school. So, my question to you is, have you ever felt like it's impossible to know everything that there is to know, to read every single chapter, to memorize every single thing in your textbook, but feel like you need to and you can't figure out how to get all of the key points out of these 50,000 pages that your professor is asking you to learn? Have you ever struggled managing the course load between the 4 to 5 classes plus 2 labs that you're taking? Have you ever felt it difficult to learn and memorize material well enough that it actually sticks with you beyond just the exam that you took this morning? Because we have that cram and dump kind of thing, right? Where we cram for the exam. The moment the exam comes, it's like, I got to make room for the other stuff. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever spent the last few weeks before college, before the semester ends, trying to calculate every point that you need to get in order to be able to pass this class, and then feel like you're relying on the final to put you over that pass-fail line, and then you act surprised when you didn't pass, right? Because all along you weren't getting the grades. I want to get you to a point where you can get a dang 40 on the final and you'll still end up with the B-. That happened to me many times in nursing school where I was like, I just need a 50. Like, if I get a 50 on this, I'll still end up with a B, right? That's where I want to get you. Do you feel like you're struggling getting your professor to give you the information to pass their class? Do you feel like your professor's against you? Like they purposely want you to fail? Like they're giving you no directions? They're not telling you what the expectations are? What if you knew how to communicate with them where they went above and beyond to help you? Where they go out of their way to make sure that you specifically have everything you need to be able to pass the test? Do you struggle with knowing not only what to write down in your notes, but how to write it, how long to spend on your notes, how much is too much time to read, how much is too much time to spend studying? Do you have questions like that where you sit down and what you say to yourself is, this is what I think you're supposed to do. I think I'm supposed to read the chapter. I'm supposed to write notes and I have no idea what I'm writing, so I'm going to write everything on this page. And then I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to highlight everything because it's all important, right? You go through this process where you're like, what am I doing? Like, this is so hard. College is so hard. Why is it so hard? Right? These are supposed to be like the fun period of your life. Like, you're supposed to be making all these connections and having time to join clubs and like do all these things, but the entire time you're just a huge freaking stress ball because you can't even pass one day in class. Do you struggle with knowing when it's okay to stop studying? Okay, are you the girl that I see, like literally the morning of the exam, 2 minutes before the doors open, and she's like, and talking to everyone like, oh my God, and do you remember this? Okay, this is, are you that girl that looks like a freaking nutcase studying like literally up until the minute of the exam because you think that if you review the stuff like a second before you take the actual exam, that somehow that's going to get you an A? Do you wish that you had a step-by-step plan, a step-by-step guide on what you should actually be doing to get good grades in college without spending the next 2 to 4 years with your head stuck in the books? Do you wish someone would tell you, how do I specifically ask my professor what's on the exam without asking him what's on the exam, but still getting him to tell me what's on the exam, right? Because there's a way to communicate with people, to get them to tell you things that they wouldn't normally tell you. There's a way to communicate with people to get what it is that you want from them, to get them to actually want to help you, right? It's not manipulation, but it's more so that they are now engaged and invested in your success. How amazing would that be? Can you imagine how incredible would it be if your professor took a personal interest in you succeeding in their class? That they went above and beyond to make sure that you passed the semester, that you got an A or a B on every single exam. How would it change your life if you knew how to read in a way where it took half the time, but you still had all of the key information and got an A or B on the exam? What would it be like if you actually knew what great students do when they study? Right? Because we say we're studying when we go to the library or the coffee shop, but we're just wasting time because we really don't know what we should be doing. What if you knew you had a checklist, a process that you went through every single time, and it was like clockwork and took half the time and your grade actually doubled? What would that do for your education? Think about the scholarships that you would be able to apply to. Think about the graduate programs that you would now qualify for. Think about the time you would now have to be able to be a decent human being who actually brushed her hair and put on makeup. Think about how proud you're going to be to talk about school with your parents or your family, where you don't have to hide anymore or avoid the conversation of school because you're actually doing well. Think about the money you would save on student loans because now you're not having to repeat classes, you're not having to extend the amount of time that you spend in college, but you're graduating when you say you would. Do you want that opportunity? Because I have designed a 6-week-long workshop where you're going to get all of that and so much more. And it's called Study School. And I created it for college girls like me who were struggling, who are struggling, who are tired of failing class after class after class, who are tired of going to study groups and feeling like the dumb girl and like everybody else somehow has a secret to know all this information. to know how to talk to your professors so that they engage in your education and your success. So they are invested in you, so that they write you letters of recommendation, and they're the first ones to appoint you for different things that they know you would be great at, because you've proven to them that not only are you an amazing student with your grades, but in the way you conduct yourself with them, in the types of relationships you build with them, how you communicate with them. Because college is so much more than just grades. You need to be able to have a life outside, but it's difficult to be able to have that life, to engage in extracurricular activities, to engage in things that's going to help you stand out when you go and apply for graduate schools or medical programs or dental programs or law school or just a job, right? If you're not going to continue to pursue your education, you need things outside of grades to be able to stand out. But if you don't have your study skills honed in, if you don't have systems in place that help you cut down on time while getting higher grades, it's impossible to engage in all of those outside activities. And I say it to my girls all the time. I care about you getting A's and B's, but I care more about who you become over these 2 to 4 years more than that. But you don't have the ability to show up as your best self if you're constantly stressed. So let me give you these strategies so you can go out and live your life, so that you can actually contribute something to this world. Because at the end of the day, employers hire people. They don't hire GPAs. The GPA might get you in the door, might have your resume looked at, but what's going to get you hired is your character. But if you don't have the time to develop that and develop skills outside of just being a great student, it's not going to matter. You're not going to stand out. And so that's why I created Study School. And if you're ready to step up into your brilliance that lies inside of you, if you're ready to step up into the role that you were created for, if you're ready to prove to all of those naysayers that you actually have what it takes to succeed, and that you will do this dang thing, that you will get the grades, that you will graduate, and you'll graduate with honors, right? With your little tassel, then I invite you to join me in Study School. So if you go to sherocksatcollege.com/study-school, you'll be able to see all the details to Study School. We start next Tuesday, and tomorrow at midnight is actually the last day to enroll. So if you're serious about this, if you're serious about making a change, if you are tired of failing classes, if you're tired of struggling in college, please do yourself a favor. Give yourself the opportunity to become a great student. Give yourself the opportunity to impress yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to impress yourself, to prove to yourself that you are smart enough, that you are talented enough, and that you are worthy enough of college and life success. Again, you can go to sherocksatcollege.com/study-school, and I will go ahead and put it in the comments for anyone who sometimes is internet illiterate like I am, so it'll be easier for you to click. Again, enrollment ends tomorrow at midnight, but if you enroll today, by midnight, you're going to get access to 3 different bonuses that I have. The first bonus is my college productivity kit, which goes over exactly how to create a study routine, exactly how to decide what you should be working on every single day, how to decide how to prioritize your readings based off of how much things are worth, etc. The whole process of like keeping yourself on task is included in that. The second bonus that you're going to get is my 7 days to conquer procrastination. So in that, it's a 7-day challenge where daily you're going to be working towards finally eliminating procrastination and learning how to stop yourself in the act. So learning the strategy, my secret strategy to get yourself to actually do the work the moment that you're about to decide that Netflix is way better. And then you're also going to get my exam day morning ritual. So if you're someone who normally gets really nervous and agitated and stressed out the day of your exam, I'm going to walk you through how to create a morning routine that will help you center yourself, get into the zone. It's similar to what athletes do on the day of a meet or the day of a game, or the day that they're supposed to prepare on the Olympics to help them perform at their best, and to be able to have a clear enough mind where even if you don't know the answer to a question, you can guide yourself to the right answer. So it's really great resource that you can only get if you enroll by tonight at midnight. And again, the doors to study school will be closing tomorrow at midnight, and they won't open up again until the spring semester. So does anyone have any questions? I'd be happy to answer. I'm going to scroll up because I do see some comments here. Ariel says, Clarissa, your 3-day workshop helped me build confidence in myself. I'm so happy to hear that. A lot of the girls were actually saying that, that was the biggest takeaway that they got from it was the belief in themselves that they could do it, that they could actually succeed in college. They found their love again for why it is that they enrolled in college in the first place. And now they're like super pumped to start their semester. So Natalie says, I'm ready. Natalie, are you enrolled in study school? I'd love to have you. It looks like you're one of Ariel's friends, so it'd be nice to have both of you in there. Because Ariel is already enrolled, and she's going to totally kick butt this semester. Ariana says, what is study school? Study school is a 6-week-long workshop where I teach you how to make the dean's list without spending the next 2 to 4 years with your head stuck in the book. So if you've ever wondered what it actually takes to be a great student, what great students, 4.0 students do to get the grades that they get. If you ever wonder what the girl who before an exam says, I only studied for like an hour and I got like 120 points on the exam. If you ever wonder what she does, I'm going to be teaching you all of that inside of study school. So I did put the link. I'll put it again so that you can take a look at it and get all the information you need to come join us inside of study school. Oh, and Ariel says, I also think I killed both my tests today, which you probably did. Elzira says, I clearly missed it. The 3-day workshop, Elzira, was a challenge that I hosted last weekend where I taught how to create your study routine in a weekend. So, okay, so it doesn't look like anyone has any other questions. I will put the link to study school up above for anyone who is watching the replay and wants to join us before midnight tomorrow. And if you have any questions, you can also leave them in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them later on today. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you have an incredible rest of your Thursday. Bye.